Hey guys. It's a very common thing we have to say on this show that we are the strangest team the world has ever seen. But at the same time, we're still in 7th place, so it's not all that bad, it could be a whole lot worse. So welcome everyone to Matchday Report, the series where we'll analyse Preston North End games, breaking down, shots on target, all this, what did they mean, how both halves performed, the pros and the cons, all that lovely stuff. It's a nice condensed way to get all your matchday information in one go, as well as understand a little bit more about what went on in the game. Now, of course, before we begin, I'd like to start by saying please check the Twitter in the description. This is something I need to get better at saying, so I'm practicing now, because obviously down there we do a lot of P&E content. You guys get to get involved with these things, and it's just a nice little space for everyone. So yeah, please check that out, that's really cool. And also, I'm sorry this video is so late. Working the night shift has turned me into a fucking zombie, and it's very difficult to find any time to do any of these kind of things anymore. But we move. Anyways, you can look at the stats while I discuss the first and the second half. So the first half was one that we was lucky to remain at 0-0 for. Neither team could produce anything much, but QPR made some good runs and efforts. The second half comes to life with P&E more awake, but conceded as a result. Conceding from a set piece is something we do need to work on by the looks of it. For the rest of the half, it was a mix of time wasting, poor effing, and mixed play into the last 10, which we actually began to look hungry to rob a point, but it wasn't to be. We didn't deserve to win anything from the game, if you ask me. Now, if we take a look at these shots, this is of course another Preston North End masterclass where we've had more possession and lost the game. It's a very common theme at this point. The second you see our boys run around with that ball for any more than 5 seconds apiece, you know we've lost the game. That's just the way this season's going so far. We had 10 shots with only 2 on target. They had 17 with 6 on target. Now, of course, neither team had 50%, but I'd rather much take the 6 shots on target from 17 myself, and all that with just close to half the possession. They made close to equal passes. It was more accurate than we were. We had more fouls, which is common. They had more cards than us somehow. I think they had some. I think it was from time wasting in a few places. We had 3 offsides. We're always offside at least once or twice, and we had 4 corners each. So it's just another one of them games, really, that we can't avoid. If we have less possession, this kind of shit happens. If we have more possession, this kind of shit happens. If we have less possession, we turn into prime Barcelona. It's like we did against Blackburn last week. It's ridiculous. That might be a bit of a stretch, but you get the point. It's one of them things, and I can't really avoid it. We can't avoid it. It's just we got to get lucky on the day. Our home form's awful, but yeah, it's a shame, really. Of course, the lineup, we were still playing the same one that we played against Blackburn, which is why I'm so baffled as to how the performance was so much worse. I mean, fair enough, with their back, there was always on Evans, but at the same time, Fernandez, Woodburn and DJ sometimes managed to, they had openings to go, but they never took it apart from Alvaro. But when those openings were taken, there was nothing to turn it into, so it's a massive shame in the end. And in terms of where we are now in the table, we're sat at 7th place. However, it is joint 7th on goal difference. The only difference is they've scored and conceded more, which is why they're above us, even though it's an equal goal difference in that way. So it's not an awful place to be, really. I couldn't really care less that we dropped the 3 points. If we had gained the 3 points, we'd be sat joint with Watford. We'd be 5th, yeah, because they've got more goals. So we'd be 5th if we won this game. So that's a massive shame, but it is what it is, unfortunately. That's just Preston North End for you, especially when we play at Deepdale. And I actually didn't know Birmingham was this high up the table. I'm baffled by that, because last time I checked, they were towards the bottom half. So fair play Birmingham, well done, you made a recovery. Same with Middlesbrough as well. But Blackpool and Wigan are still down there, so that's good. Righty. Player ratings from the Lancashire Live. Oh yeah, I just saw this as well. This was hilarious, by the way. This Tim Sherwood shit. I can't. I don't know how you scream for a penalty for a minute straight just to find out that it wasn't even in the opposition's box. There's a badge on the shirt for a reason, pal. Anyways, Woodman as 6 didn't seem a great deal he could do about the goal. Kept it at 1 with smart but fairly straightforward saves. Story is 6, Lindsay 6, and Cunningham is 6. The entire back line on a 6. I do think they did some decent work today. They're always typically solid and they're never ever below a 6. And if they are, obviously something's gone wrong. Potts were a 6. I thought he was up and down quite a bit. Didn't do a whole much, but he had a very ambitious shot, which was pretty close. Ledson with a 5. I think that, the corner went over his head for the goal. That's why there's points dropped. But all around, I think Ledson had a pretty decent game, to be honest. Whiteman a 5, battled. I can't read. I've not got my glasses on. Battled away in the middle of the park, moved the ball quickly. When he did get on it, wasn't able to run the game he likes. That's very true. I think Whiteman was very contended. Alvaro, the main threat for PNE on and off day for the team in an attacking sense, was nullified for most of the first half but stepped up performance, so to ask questions with his direct runs and crossing, so a low shot saved. Now he did make those direct runs, and every time he had an option to make either a cross or a pass towards the opposition's box in the second half, none of them were taken. He sort of froze, because I think he looked like he got stuck into mindsets of do I shoot or do I pass the ball. And I think that could have led to potentially losing out on a few good attacking chances, so that's a shame. Woodburn a 5, quiet first half as he struggled to find space, was denied in the second half when a glorious chance fell his way, got himself more in the game as it went on, which is true. DJ a 5, put himself about, but he wasn't able to impact the game going forward as much as he can. Grew into the second half, winning the ball back, blah blah blah, yeah. Same thing really, sent a late shot over the crossbar, which was a shame. Evans a 6, battled hard at the top end of the pitch as the lone striker, tried to be that focal point up against 2 big centre-backs, created a good chance for Woodburn in the second half and had more of an impact. Cool. Finley ran the channels and put himself about. A valuable 20 minutes for him. Experience will benefit him in the long run. Absolutely true. This lad's got a bright future. Same with this one here, Mikey O'Neill. And a fresh legs across the front line for the final few minutes. And Bambo had a couple of powerful runs down the right flank and gave it his absolute all. Yeah, he did. So very, very quick, powerful runs, intimidating runs, good footwork as well to keep the ball. He looked pretty good down that stretch, but that does not mean that is his natural position. I've seen so many people saying we should switch Bambo to a wing back. No. Because he's had a few good runs doesn't mean he's wing back material. It's very different when you're playing it against other people. Gaffer's reaction. Frustrated really, I thought after last week we knew we weren't going to get the exact same performance because it's very hard in the championship. Yeah, but they weren't remotely similar. I just thought we lacked a bit of quality. QPR came here, did a job, but I think it should have been 0-0 really. I did at first. It hit Jimmy Dunn on the knee, went in, and that's the bit of fortune that we didn't have. If you can't win it, don't lose it. I thought it was going to be 0-0. I didn't use missing players as an excuse. We won 4-1 last week, went in the same shape. And personnel last week, teams came here and they don't give anything away. We were passing backwards and sideways, moved DJ Woodburn, tried to get Chad up a bit more. We want to send the fans home happy, which hasn't been the case, so we'll keep on working hard to get better. Good. At least it wasn't a long way back. I think that's why the players don't perform. They're like, oh, it's only 5 minutes down the road. More from Law. I felt if we could have replicated last weekend again and gone again, it would have been nice. It would have been 6 points from 6, and we'd been on the march over Christmas. I don't think we deserved the 3 points today. I've been made up with a point based on how the game was. It was flat all around. We'll recover, rest, and go again Boxing Day. Hopefully so. Low on the absentees. We should definitely have a couple back for Boxing Day. McCann and Reese were the 2 closest. Okay, that's good. Finley. I just felt something would drop down, so I told him to stay close to Ched. And when we changed it by putting Woodburn and DJ in 2 pockets of 2 8s, we felt that one could drive it with, and we could drive with it and set him up. Okay, or if there was a pullback from Alvaro or Potts, we fancied him to finish it. So yeah, that's why we went for him. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, cool. Fine and dandy with me, not a massive problem. So yeah, of course, it's unfortunate to not walk away with 3 points, but it is what it is. Right, let's go over the points to make, shall we? My personal points to make is that we perform far too poorly at home, and that is something that has been addressed by the players themselves. Why play not working as much as it has been? So maybe go back to a narrow setup. Alvaro not at his best, which I know he was probably the best player on the pitch, but if he was making them ambitious like balls through, like I was talking about a minute ago, we could have had a lot more chances than we actually had. Defending corners is something we can't seem to do consistently. We had a low attendance. Diaby looked good on the wing, and it was Neil Critchley that beat us well, people. Unfortunately, I've only got 2 pros to talk of, and that is there was some good forward play at times and young players getting the game time. But then we also have 4 cons, in that being another game where we lose with the more possession had with 2 shots on target, another loss at home, and we've dropped out of the top 6 but just barely, so it's not awful, it could be worse. But at the same time, I can't be making excuses. It does need, sorting out. Things do need changing in terms of our home form. We've got another game at home, which will be Huddersfield, who are rock bottom of the Championship, so in theory it's a game we can walk away with 3 points. But at the same time, I wouldn't be so sure because we are at home. We went to Huddersfield and only won 1-0, and our away form's impeccable in comparison to our home form, so we'll see how it goes, hopefully well. And then after that, we've got back-to-back away games against West Brom and Stoke, who are lower down in the table, fair enough, but they're no teams to write off. So it's going to be a difficult 4 weeks for Preston, and these 4 weeks could be very decisive in terms of where we're going to be standing around January, February time. Because if we can't pick up enough points in the coming weeks, until the end of February, early March at least, then I think our playoff hopes are absolutely crushed. So if we can't keep picking up more points, 3 points, etc., it could get very shaky for us. So we've just got to bear that in mind, because of course the Championship's very tight knit. There's like 1-2 points separating most of the teams above us, but they are teams that will always come in week out and they'll score more goals than we have, etc. So we need to be more mindful of our points than our goals by the looks of things, because if we can get tied on points and then gain more points, then we're fine and dandy, because there's no chance we're overtaking some teams in goal difference at this stage. So we've just got to be very mindful, very wary, and fingers crossed we can get our home form sorted out, because if we don't, then I think we're staying down. So yeah, it needs sorting out. So thank you all for watching again. Sorry it's late. I will hopefully have the Boxing Day video out on the Tuesday. I say hopefully, but like I say, these night shifts are next level. So yeah, I shall see you all very soon, but I won't see you until after Christmas. So Merry Christmas everyone, hopefully you have a good one. And yeah, I'll see you after Boxing Day.